Hello YouTube. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a linked list in C, and um, if you don't know what it is, it's basically just an array that dynamically expands and can be modified. Items can be deleted, items can be added. So the first thing we're going to need is a header file. I'm just going to call it linked list. And by the way, I'm using Xcode, but you can use any C compiler either on a Mac or on a Windows. So the first thing is we're going to include standard io.h, then we're going to include standard lib.h because we're going to need both of those. Typing, type def, struct node. So this node is going to hold an integer value. It's going to hold a pointer to the previous item. And it's going to hold a pointer to the next item. So apparently I have to put struct in front of these. Next, we need an initializer function. I'm just going to accept a value. And this is the first thing that is going to be in the list. So now we need a C file. And we need to #include linked list.h. Then paste the function. So now we need to create a new node. And we need to use dynamic memory allocation. And to do that, we use the function malloc. It accepts a size, which will be the size of our node. And now that we allocated memory, we need to actually put something into our node. So we set the value to be the value we pass in the function. And then we set the next to null. And we set the previous to null. and then we return new node. So now if we go in main, we create a new node. Let's say I'll give it a 10, and then if we printf, just show you that initializer works. See, it outputs 10. So now we need to add elements. So create a new function, returns a node. Accepts a new value, and another node. Copy this. Now we need a new node to store the value. So say node, new node is equal to, now we can use our init list with value to allocate. We don't have to go through malloc. So now this will be a newly fresh allocated node that we can use. So this will be added to the end. So it means that it doesn't have anything after it. So new node next is null, and the previous will be list, because we're going to attach it to our list. Because it's going to be first list and then new node. And then once we do this, we need to also connect list next is equal to new node. Then we can return new node. So now let's just add
It's 5 o'clock.
a bunch of values. Let's say we just add I, and we use this node. So now I'm just going to create a print function that will print the elements in the list. So first we need a rewind. The reason why we need this is because the current node will be at the end of the list. So if we want to display all the items in a loop, we're going to need to get to the first and then print everything that comes after that. So we need to do this until the list is empty, until we reach the end. So until list, until we reach the beginning, sorry, is not equal to null. If that is not the case, we set list to list previous. And then we return list. Now we have our rewind function, and we need our print function. So it's going to return void print list. It's going to accept node pointer list. Okay. So first of all, we're going to assign list to rewind list. Then we need to display all the items in the list until the last one is null. So until we reach the end, make sure you don't try to print anything that's null because it will crash. So in the while condition, just say list next is not equal to null. List equals list next. So it takes us to the next value, and we're going to printf actually I'm going to use an index for this. So the purpose that the index is going to serve is to track at what position we currently are. So in the first, we're going to pass the index. In the second one, we're going to pass list value. So now go in your main and call print list and pass in list node. Oops, I forgot to put an end line. Okay, so here it is. So first we have our 10 because we just randomly printed it here as a test case. But we have position 0 is 10 because we initialize it with 10, and then each of the other ones are 0, 1, 2, 3, and then if you think about it, when the while loop here reaches the very end, it will say it reaches the last element, which is allocated, and its value is something. This loop will break because it will say, well, yes, there is something in the node, but the next item is indeed null. So I'm not going to print it. So to fix that, we just need to copy this, paste it, just say list is equal to list next, and then we're going to need index plus 1, Okay, so notice how at the beginning it would only display from 0 to 3. I mean from 0 to 4, because we were missing that last step. So here it is. And I'm going to show you just one last thing. I'm going to make a function to get the number of items in the list. So we now need to rewind the list, and we need an integer called count to keep track of how many items there actually are. So we need a while loop. List next not equal to null. List equals list next. And then we increment our count. And then we do it once more outside the loop because of that similar problem we discussed in here, where it would print one item short, and then we return count. Then we just go in our main and say printf there are %d items in. And here it will count the number of items and return them. So this is just a brief video on linked lists. I hope it is helpful, and maybe I'm going to make a video on how to enhance these and make them a bit more efficient, and possibly including a delete function. So thanks for watching.